Welcome back. It is time. We are now onto the part of the show reserved for Head2Head, brought to you by Grand Falls Casino and Golf Resort. I ask the questions. Our Midco SN personalities argue their answers with a time limit. There are rebuttals allowed, but in the end, the first person to win 3 debates on the day is that day's champion. We have been keeping track of the standings all season long, and our Head2Head playoffs start next week, a single elimination tournament. A winner will be crowned at the end of this month. That is coming up. But anyways, going head-to-head today, 2 of the best to ever play the game here on MST. Alex Heinert up in Grand Forks, and right here in Sioux Falls, Mr. David Brown. We did a coin flip. Alex won. He, after much deliberation, has elected to go first. So, you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, question number 1. The Celtics beat the Cavs last night to take a 2-0 series lead in the Eastern Conference Finals. Is this series over?
As a Celtics fan, part of me says no because they have LeBron on the other side of the court. But yes, this is absolutely over. If you watched the game last night, specifically the fourth quarter, I think you saw a Cleveland team that just doesn't seem to care. They don't seem to care about playing hard. They don't seem to care about their coach, certainly, and what their coach is telling them. And they don't care about each other. Jeff Van Gundy on the broadcast said, "I've never seen a team eye roll at each other more than they did over the course of that contest." LeBron is doing everything that he can to try and pull this team into the finals, but this, barring injury, this Celtics team, I think, is moving on.
All right, David.
It's not over. First of all, LeBron. That's the easy answer. But second of all, we've seen this song and dance for the past 4 years. Every single postseason, there's some sort of Cavalier controversy, and LeBron James emerges from it. Until someone takes him down, it's not over. All the Celtics have done is defend the home court. They defended the home court round 1 against Milwaukee. That went a full 7 games. Until someone wins on the other's home court, no, this isn't over. LeBron's been down 0-2 before, and a thing I seem to remember, what's that? Oh yeah, the 2016 finals against the greatest regular season team of all time, and he came back from that, so no, this isn't over.
My rebuttal to that, 2 rebuttals. First of all, the Milwaukee series, all those games were close in Boston. Those were close, competitive games. These games have not been close. Boston has destroyed Cleveland the first 2 games. And in 2016, Cleveland did come back against the Warriors, but Kyrie Irving was a big reason for that. And he's, not playing, but he's playing on the Celtics now. Teams down 0-2, 281-19, Dave, in NBA history for coming back. 281-19.
But yet LeBron is one of those 18, and as long as we're doing this whole LeBron-MJ debate, MJ was down 0-2 in the Eastern Conference Finals in '93. The Knicks, they won 4 straight to win that one.
But MJ had Scottie, and LeBron had Kyrie. This is not a good Cavs team. It's over.
The Cavs has always been a bunch of renegades and YMCA dads competing.
I trust in LeBron. So David Brown wins that one.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that.
I'm not saying the Celtics won't win.
President Brad Stevens going to the finals. Write it down.
Oh my goodness. Okay, anyways, question 2.
281-19.
We're going to talk a little bit more.
LeBron's one of the 18.
Before this game even happened, before the Celtics Cavs game, the NBA's worst team, the Phoenix Suns, won the NBA draft lottery. They won something. Is this further proof that tanking pays off, or that we need to change how the NBA draft order is determined? David?
Tanking doesn't necessarily pay off in terms of the players, but it does in terms of the picks. The worst team has won the NBA draft lottery each of the last 4 years, so yes, there needs to be reform. Now, to the NBA's credit, this past September, they passed new reform that's going in next year where the worst 3 teams will have the same odds at getting the number 1 pick. But the problem with that is that's just going to incentivize tanking to the final 3 teams. You don't have to be the worst. You just have to be in the bottom 3. There needs to be some sort of overhaul. The easy solution, give every lottery team the same chance. Yeah, a 44-win team might get it over a 15-win team, but this proves you don't tank and you try and get to the playoffs as best you can.
Yeah. All right, Alex, what do you got?
I agree with Dave that something needs to change. This system has been in place since 1990. Like Dave said, the last 4 years, the worst team in the league has gotten the number 1 overall pick. It's only happened 7 times total over that stretch, but it seems to be a trend, and teams are picking up on what the 76ers have been able to do. They were awful on purpose for years, and now they've got a contender built because of this system. I'm not sure what the right answer is, and I know every other major sports league does this, but you look at pro soccer in Europe, the bottom 3 teams get kicked out of the league. Like, there's no incentive for being bad. All those games matter. It's just not the case in the NBA, and something needs to change.
As awesome as relegation in the NBA might seem, I don't think anyone is going to go for it. If you give
I'm
every
not saying
team,
that's the answer, but
I'm just saying giving every team the equal odds incentivizes. You're not trying to tank for a worst record or a top 3 or a bottom 3 record. I just think it makes each team want to compete and not rest guys who have these fake injuries all the time at the end of the season.
You know what? I'm going to go with Alex on that one. And I like the soccer. You're just out. You're just out of the league.
you're just done. There's
Get
no
outta
tanking
here.
in European soccer, I tell you what.
Oh my goodness. All right, tied up 1-1. Talking football now. After the Power Rigs Football Academy Combine this past weekend, a number of area athletes received scholarship offers, including some for the D1 level. However, do pro teams and colleges put too much emphasis on combine results? Alex?
Well, first off, I think what Curtis Griggs and the Power program do are fantastic. This is a great showcase for kids in our region to get themselves and their talents in front of college coaches and maybe earn a scholarship. But with that said, oh yeah, we put way too much emphasis on how tall you are, how strong you are, how long you can jump. I think everybody would probably agree the NFL Combine realistically is kind of a joke. Some of these drills that they have them do don't have any relevance to how good of a football player you are. Just because you're not 6 feet tall does not mean you can't be a great NHL defenseman. Just ask Will Butcher. Just because you can't run a 4.3 40 doesn't mean you can't be a great running back. I just think we put too much emphasis on this. If you can play, you can play.
All right, David.
I'll agree for the most part with what Alex said because of one simple fact. When's the last time a professional football Hall of Famer, his origin story started with that great 40 time, that great 3-cone drill, that great shuttle? It actually starts most of the time with terrible results in the Combine. Jerry Rice was slow in his 40. Tom Brady, Alex's favorite quarterback of all time, had horrible Combine numbers. He's the greatest QB ever. I think it can help high school students get noticed for a D1 scholarship, but ultimately game tape is what's the best indicator. Yeah, you're playing against non-professional competition, but there are intangibles there that can translate to the next level. Combine results don't mean squat. No pun intended.
Whoa! All right,
That was
David
pretty
Brown on that one. I gotta go with that because I like the Tom Brady story, and also, man, it all started with my great 3-cone drill. That was just how I got my
tale
career.
as old as time.
Yeah, exactly. All right, David is up 2-1. Question number 4. Sioux Falls Lincoln set a new all-time South Dakota high school record in the boys 4x2. Alex talked about it earlier, but this was yesterday. Of all the events in track and field, what's the most satisfying one to break a record in? David?
Well, as the foremost track expert on the show, obviously. Second place in the 4x200, District 196, 5th grade in 1997, the peak of my athletic prowess.
Woo.
All kidding aside, I say it's the 100-meter dash for a simple reason that it's just pure speed start to finish. The layperson knows names like Usain Bolt and Carl Lewis for the 100-meter dash. It's pure speed. Not too many people just in general know a lot of these field athletes. As great as Chris Nilsson's pole vault was a couple of weeks ago, people aren't going to know him as well as a 100-meter track athlete. Again, my athletic expertise in this field is unquestioned, especially to the guy I'm debating.
That was phenomenal. All right, Track Nation's favorite son, Alex.
You can't beat second place in district whatever. And that's good stuff, Dave.
5th grade.
I will simplify this. The most satisfying event to break a record in is your event. So we'll start with that. But if you want to be specific, I think that it's either high jump or pole vaults. And here's why. Because in those two events, in every event beside those two, the results aren't automatic. If you're finishing a 1600 meter, you got to look up and see the score, and if it's close, you got to wait for the automatic times to come in. Same thing with the disc or the shot. With high jump and pole vault, you're going over a bar, and the second you clear that bar, you know that you've got a record, and you can let the adrenaline and the excitement and the joy just kick in. There's no suspense. I think those two, and plus they're visually appealing. I think those two are the best.
There's no suspense when you win a 100-meter dash?
Well, you can win the race, but the thing is, Usain Bolt, obviously, when he crosses the finish line, knows he's broken a world record because the timing system's that good. But in South Dakota, North Dakota, in most places, you got to wait. You got to wait minutes before they officially give you the results.
But that makes the satisfaction, the nature of this question, pay off even more.
Oh, I like the instant over the bar, yes, and you freak out. We saw that with Chris Nielsen getting buried by his teammates on the pit the other day. I think there's a lot. Any record you break is great, but I think there's a lot to love about knowing right away that you got it.
I can't rule against the track guy. Alex
I kind of
Heinert.
expected that.
And also, it's so cool when they make it over the bar, and well, obviously pole vault, you're falling from a higher distance. You can't really celebrate.
There's a long time to think about it. Yes,
But
sir.
yeah, then you're going down, you're singing. Oh my gosh, it's just so cool. But yeah, high jump, it's not really you're just kind of on the mat. But it's still very cool. Anyways, all tied up 2-2. Going into question 5. ESPN and Netflix announced a 10-hour Michael Jordan documentary is coming in 2019. Is this too much or not enough?
I think this is just right, Kelly. If you're a child of the 80s or 90s, or if you're a basketball fan and you're currently breathing, you're going to watch every minute of this. And because, again, nostalgia TV, first of all, is back in a big way, and everybody loves MJ in some way, shape, or form. I remember being a kid, and our favorite VHS tape was Dazzling Dunks and Basketball Bloopers, and there was about an 8-minute segment of just MJ taking on Dominique Wilkins in the 1988 dunk contest in Chicago, and that could have been like hours long, and we would have eaten it all up. I think any longer than this, we're getting into some weird stuff with Rodman and wedding dresses and too much time spent on baseball, but 10 hours gives us just enough to get through all of it. I'm going to love this. It's going to be great.
All right, David.
Just right. It's not enough by a long shot. Don't get me wrong. I'm absolutely geeked about this documentary that's coming out. The Bulls are the reason I became a basketball fan in the 90s, sort of alluding to the nostalgia and the sentimentality and the childhood of what Alex mentioned. But in the press release for this documentary, they've mentioned 500 plus hours of unseen interviews and footage. Seriously, just take that, put it on a loop, and stick it into my veins. I will watch that on repeat over and over and over again. I want to know about the craziness of Rodman's antics and Ron Harper and MJ playing baseball. I want to know every single minutia and fact about that Bulls run. I'm such a fan of this. You can't, 100 hours, 1,000 hours, just put it on a loop for the rest of my days.
All right, I'm going with David on that one. Plus, it's Netflix because people tune in for hours and hours on Netflix anyways. 10 hours is nothing. Plus, I love Michael Jordan. So, David Brown, the 3-2 winner on the day. Congratulations, and thank you so much for playing, guys. If you have any topics or questions you'd like to see debated, join the conversation. Let us know. You can tweet them at me, at Stuart MidcoSN, or to our network account at MidcoSN. We always love to hear from you guys. All right, well, we're going to step away for a moment, but when we return, catch a look at the results from yesterday's Twitter poll. Stay with us.